Greetings, YouTube. This is Brandon Hill here with Terrence Pegasus. Together, we are the creators of Wild Space Saga, the epic sci-fi action adventure series you didn't know you needed. And this is the Wild Space WILDCAST, made specifically to tell you exactly why you need it, as we've been around for a hot minute in relative silence on DeviantArt. But before we begin, let's take a moment to subscribe and hit that beautiful notification bell so that you won't miss a single bit of news, events, and live streams from our channel. Whether you watch this live or are watching after the fact, we want you to join us on the Northwest Passage. And finally, if we piqued your interest, links to our books available in paperback and ebook, as well as everywhere else you can find us on the social medias, are available down in the doobly-doo. So, before we get started, I do want to have a big announcement for those of you who have not seen it or do not follow us out on the social medias. Let me pull up
Put it down the
screen. Give me just a second.
On screen. I'll be the captain. I've got the arms on the chair. I can do the pose.
Hang on just a sec. All right, there we are. And yeah. Okay, can you see that, Terry?
No.
Hang on.
I don't know. Do I need to be looking at the live? No.
Let me check the. Let me go back to. Okay, no, hang on. Let me do.
Have you clicked share screen? We're nothing but professionals here.
All right, there we go. So let me get to that. Let me get to that little part, and as soon as it'll bring it up, I don't know why it's being slow as Christmas. All right, can you see that, Terry?
I can.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, books 1 and 2 for Wild Space Saga have finally been re-released. As Terry likes to call it, the
have you opened it? Because all I'm seeing is your folder on the screen.
Oh, it's still just bringing up the folder? Just a moment. Okay, I think I know what the
problem
is.
It's only showing the folder, yeah. It's not actually showing the image at the minute.
Okay, well, let me... Hang on just a second. Live, everyone. I think I know what I did wrong. Let me remove it. Try this again. Yeah, stop screen. Okay. Share screen. Window. Actually, entire screen. Yeah, there we are. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Entire screen, not window. All right. All right. Can you see that?
Yep. Now we're in now.
Okay. And whoops. No, not that. Not that. All right. Try this again.
There he goes. You're going to make it full screen so it looks all, super and pro.
There we go. All right. So I blown up to full screen before, and I guess it's had on the wrong thing. So as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, books 1 and 2 are now available for purchase. You get them in paperback and hardcover. The ebook has not yet been changed yet. That's still going to be the older version. I'm pretty sure our publisher will let us know when they've altered all that. But yeah, the books at 1 and 2, Between the Devil and the Dark and Wrath and Redemption, have been finally re-released, as Terry likes to call it, the director's cut of our 2 books. They got new content, new covers, a lot of stuff that if any of you out there have read the books, this is going to have a lot of new stuff that's going to make the stories more robust, give them a little more oomph and a little more body, so a bit more about what's going on. And for example, in Between the Devil and the Dark, in the first version, it focused almost purely on Xerxes and his crew. But and this was when we first started writing about it.
You found that Paige and the crew and the Shadowstar crew came in a lot later, towards the end.
Yeah.
We learned a lot about writing in the time between actually writing these and releasing them. In that, really, people expect a bit more from their sci-fi. So we went back and had a look at what we could actually do to improve the stories and make them longer, make them more engaging. And so that's what we did.
Yep, exactly. And and because we realized that Paige and her crew have a lot more of a presence in Wild Space Saga than at first I think even I had imagined. We wanted to go ahead and put it on a B plot. And like I said before, we had talked about it because our publishers wanted us to make the story a bit more longer and more robust. And I was like, oh, we just put in a B plot. And it ended up working out really, really well. And we hope We hope that you'll go out and check it out, people, because because buying our books is going to show us some love. And all we ask if you purchase the books is that even if you didn't like it, please leave a review. Let us know what you thought. Let us know how you feel. We want you guys to be part of this wonderful this wonderful universe.
Not just that, but feedback helps no matter what. So if there is something you didn't like about it, we can learn from it.
Absolutely. Okay. And so, like I said, it's available on Amazon and other booksellers. We do have the Amazon link down in the doobly-doo for all of you guys who want to check it out. Now, with all that out of the way, so last time, let me put this down for just a moment, and let me remove this for just a bit. Okay, so as I was saying, what we were doing beforehand. Oh, we got some people in the chat. Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll be getting back to it in a bit.
So I just saw Finn. So he's knocking Ghost. Oh, I don't know. That's it. Banned. No, I'm joking.
So
considering I saw them live just under a year ago now, I'm obsessed with them. So
yes, he is.
I will fight you on that one. Just so you know.
Incidentally, one of the art pieces that I did recently of Pip wearing a Ghost T-shirt and doing the background, I just found like a Ghost poster. It ended up being our most viewed picture on DeviantArt. I forgot how many thousands of views we had, but it just blew us away. It just kept on climbing in popularity, and I guess it had to be Ghost that kind of did that. But yeah, everybody loved it, so I was really happy about that. But before we go on, I just want to let you know.
I am ready to swear right here, right now, before the devil.
Oh, you're still carrying on the conversation.
Oh no, it's because Finn. Yeah, he put another. And yeah, I got into about a couple of years ago, and I know nearly all their songs by now already. I am a bit obsessed. And then that manifested in Pip having a liking for Ghost and why she wears a Ghost t-shirt all the time now. Nothing to do with my fandom, obviously.
It's okay. I've never been that into a band. I do have bands that I absolutely love, but I've never been as into a band as he is. The only one that I could probably say that comes close to that for me is maybe Jamiroquai, but even then I don't follow every last little bitty thing with them.
So this is a tangent, and we are bad for tangents. These are the first band shirt I've ever owned. And in reply to Finn there, I would say they're just a band. People consider them metal because the old definition of metal was 2 lead guitars, and that's what they got. So technically they're metal. To me, music is music, and if you like it, just enjoy it. And I love it. I enjoy it. If you don't, and you enjoy something else, fair play. I may tease some people terribly. Like I like a friend, he loves rap music, so I tell him the C fell off at the printers. That's why it's called rap.
Oh Lord!
I've not actually listened to them, Sabaton. I have to admit.
Okay. Well, okay, so let's go ahead and get back down to business.
Back on track.
Anyway, so last time we were here, we were showing off some of the artwork, and we didn't get a chance to go through it all. We had some technical difficulties, mea culpa, and
those technical difficulties of Brandon not telling me the right time to be on. Yes.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, and so we stopped at a certain point, and we wanted to show off a few more bits and bobs from our work because we really had some more to show off, and of course, didn't get a chance to show off some of Terry's artwork, and I really wanted him to go ahead and pick up some ones that we felt that would really people really love. So let me go ahead and bring our page back up right quick, and let me see here. Why does it keep pulling that up? I don't know why.
I don't know, because you're terrible with technology.
Not really. Oh, okay.
You say not really. You're doing a good job of hiding it right now.
Okay, so yeah, this was the one because what we were at before. This is where we stopped. Right here was just the body images that we did for some of the characters that we put in for things that we were doing using ChatGPT and Grok to do some animations for various things that advertisements and whatnot. We're still working on some of that. You're going to see some really cool stuff soon. So we're going to move on ahead, and the one we had right here that just popped up, that is one of the androids in our story. Now, androids in the story are really bad news. They are remnants of technology from the old Imperium that are basically, most of them are kind of left to their own devices for centuries, and they've gone a little cuckoo. But yet
one might say they've gone a bit peculiar.
Yep. Yeah, just like Red Dwarf. And yeah, I'm about to start doing the potato people thing. Anyway,
only if you've got a magic carpet.
Yeah, look, you see. Anyway, for those of you who haven't watched Red Dwarf, go check it out. Great show.
Yeah, Mr. Flibble will be very angry.
Yeah. So yeah, the androids have gone quite peculiar, and some of them have even some of them are even trying to find out what a soul is by tearing apart certain people. Unfortunately, one of our characters, Paige here, was unfortunate enough to get on the business end of one of those crazy androids, and that unfortunately is the reason why she has artificial arms and artificial legs, as you can back it up a little bit. Artificial arms and legs, as you can see. And what you're not seeing, because it's covered up, is she has a lot of scar tissue here because they ripped out some of her internal organs, and as you can see, that huge scars where they ripped out one of her eyes. Yeah, so these things are it can be really crazy. And one of the things about androids is that we kind of took a cue from the Cylons from Babylon 5, that they can't really die. You kill them and they just... I'm sorry, not Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, so the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. My brain's on Babylon 5 constantly whenever I'm working on this stuff. Anyway, so yeah, once they can't really die. You kill them, and they just re-download into new bodies. Now, a little bit of a difference is that they lose something in the download, so it's also a situation where they might wake up in a new body but not remember why they died, or only have fragmented memories. And if you can imagine doing that, it might slowly drive you nuts. And that's probably one of the reasons why they're so crazy. Another reason they really, some of them lack. Go ahead.
Clarification we should make with these particular ones, this one here, the samurais, there's a particular sort of faction called modders where they literally heavily modify their bodies. Some of it can be anything from what would look like body horror to us, but for them, to all sorts of putting gold inlay in their skin, to almost just pulling it apart. If you look at some sort of a horrible chaos cultists from 40k, that's what some of the androids do to themselves. They modify themselves, and they're especially unhappy if they get killed and then wake up in their new body and they've lost all their mods.
Yep. That's definitely something you could get upset about. It reminds me of a role playing game that I have called Eclipse Phase, where basically death is no longer the physical handicap that it used to be, and you can download your mind into a new body if that body is killed. And yeah, some people who might have had tattoos in their old body will wake up in a new body without tattoos, and it really, really pisses them off. So yeah, you can imagine how the androids get. And this one right here that we're seeing right now, this particular samurai, is he's gonna be featured in the next book that we're working on, and he's a pretty tough cookie, as you can perhaps see the way we drew him. He's so heavily modded that very little of his original body is even left. But I wanted to kind of go for that Oni look, because they work very closely with Triads and Yakuza on the Zhao, which is a city world, which is run mostly by criminal cartels. It's technically part of the Second Imperium, but the Second Imperium kind of is hands off with them for the most part, because they don't really want to have to get into the politics of these underworld organizations.
It's also really close to the border, so it's a case of it's pretty far out. Do we really want to spend the resources policing it?
Yeah. So Zhao is one of those planets where going to be a good place for smugglers and all that kind of stuff. A lot of stories in the little nooks and crannies, and like I said, the planet. And I think I described it beforehand. Zhao is a planet that one of their largest continent is mostly covered by a huge city, not quite like Coruscant, but sort of.
Well, and it's not actually a planet, if you remember.
Moon, yes, I know.
Yeah, the original planet that it orbited was destroyed in the Imperium Wars. So this thing is basically covered in atmosphere processors that they built the cities onto, and then the cities have slowly spread into each other.
Right. The only place that has any really decent real estate is a smaller continent to the south, and but that they really don't talk a whole lot about that. At least not yet. Though I might make some stories that take place with that because I wanted to make sort of a juxtaposition, but that'll come at a later point. But yeah, as you can see, oftentimes, one picture has a lot of stories behind it, a lot of plot behind it, a lot of things that we worked on behind it. So let's move on to the next one. All right, here is Sarah. Terry can probably explain a bit about Sarah to you. You don't want to?
I can't even pronounce that. Hang on. No, Finn, it's an Ecumenopolis.
Oh, you're talking about City Planet?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was talking about Sarah. I changed the page.
Yeah, but I'm also making sure I read the comments, Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
Finn can't speak to us. He has to interact with us via the chat. So you have to keep an eye on it.
Well, I'm kind of looking at the thing. So I'll put it all in one page. But yeah, it is. Yeah, Zhao is definitely an Ecumenopolis. Yeah.
No, so Sarah isn't necessarily actually human, nor is she an android. She's a construct built from technology, very poorly understood technology that was discovered. Looks like black goo, but not the Prometheus-style black goo. It's more biomechanical, except it's not actually the friendliest of stuff, and they didn't realise that in her construction. So she ends up feeding on people because it's learning about organic beings. At the same time, because she's had a human-style upbringing, you've got a sort of moral code. So there's sort of two sides to her: the human, effectively, and the machine. And most of it runs into one. She's very self-serving. If she's behaving herself, it's probably because it's a means to an end of a benefit to her. If she's being nice to you, there's a reason. She probably wants something. She's basically, a lot of the one is she's realised that people won't miss gangsters or criminals, so she tends to then lure them back to their place and then eat them, and then spend a few days in their flat before moving on, living in their apartment, doing some laundry, doing general normal people things, watching a bit of telly, order a takeaway in. And then when people start getting a bit suspicious because the person hasn't been around for a while, she thinks, time I moved on.
Yep. Yeah, think Odo from Deep Space Nine, except it wants to eat you. But she's not.
That's probably Brandon's art style. I mean, I have drawn a lot of this. My art style is very different, but I don't have a lot of it to hand currently. New computer, so you know what it's like. Everything I need is actually elsewhere at the minute.
Whereas I have a what's called a backup drive that can take wherever I go. All right, so you'll
be able to throw me the screen in a bit because I've got some other stuff.
Yep, no problem. We only have a few more pieces left from my side. Let me go ahead and move on then.
No, it's all about you, isn't it? All about you. I don't know.
Okay, well, that other one that I just showed, I'll go back to that one in a moment. This is, let me see. Is this okay? This is the one that I did. Okay, so this is Tefanivar, an orbital colony on the border of Alliance and Felian space. It is
setting of book 2.
Yeah, it's going to feature very prominently in book 2. It is in orbit around a gas giant called Hyacinth, and it is the staging grounds for terraforming a planet called Quindissa, which will be settled jointly by human and Felian colonists. it is sort of a sign of peace between the alliance between humans and Felians, and where their societies will where their societies have actually very strongly blended. But it's also can be a place where people will go if they don't want to draw a whole lot of attention because it's very remote. Um, the planet, of course, excuse me, the colony is constructed on a gigantic asteroid. Kind of where you see the little dome thing. Let me see if I can focus in on that. Oh, good, it can do. I forgot it can do high res. A lot of people don't see this when I designed it. If you look very closely, you see the reservoirs of water, and you see something that looks like columns or stone stalactites, and then more reservoirs of water. It's almost in a terrace. It goes down into the asteroid into a reservoir of water.
Imagine it like a gigantic screw thread.
Exactly.
That's how I designed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's shaped like a screw thread. They have a highway, kind of hugs along the edges and goes spirals down. And on the inside, in answer
to Finn's question, they actually already are. That's the basic the habitation bit, and then there's other parts are mining the asteroid itself.
Yep, and they mine the asteroid for resources they can send down to Quindissa because they have atmospheric processors on that world that are basically slowly terraforming it. Kind of similar to the LV-426 colony from Alien, but no aliens, thank God. On the inside right there, you have towns and little towns and villages on the outskirts right there by the pools of water. But on the inside, you also have cities and things like that. So there's a lot of colonists there. Once the planet's terraforming is complete, many of the colonists will move down there. Some will still stay on Topanavar though. So that's the reason why you see all the different like domes and whatnot. It's pretty cool what we have going on in the second book because Xerx and his friends go there to do like an exhibition match with Gestalts because this whole outer area is just you can just wreck shop no problem as long as you don't destroy the domes. And then also what we have in book 3 is that this place is it starts off here, but it's mentioned multiple times in the book. Because what's going to happen on the Felian side of things is that the Empress has actually given birth to a half human, half Felian child who will be the governor for the colony on Quindissa once it's finished, and it's got like about 58 years to completion. Now Felians live quite a bit longer than humans, so 58 years to them is not going to be quite as much than us. But so what I have in my mind is some side stories that I want to do at a later point involving the princess and also Frostbite, Kumiko, that's her real name. Because she ends up becoming very, very close to the princess. But the other drawing the other picture that I showed right here is just I'd run the picture through ChatGPT just to see how it would look in a more professional manner, and it floored me with how this thing looks. And okay, this one wasn't as high res, but it even did a pretty decent job with the inside of the dome. But altogether, like I said, I just thought that this looked really cool, and I wanted to share it with everyone. All right, let me see. Anything you would like to say about Topanavar, Terry?
No.
All righty. So we are going to move on. All right, so these are just a few other character bits that I want to share with everyone. These are two members of the Reckless crew. That is the one right here on the right is Salt. That is let me see. Kyorinya Renu. Kyorinya Renu. That is his name. Everybody calls him Salt because their names are a little bit difficult to pronounce. And of course, you can tell why one's called Salt and the other's called Pepper. Salt's hair is of course a lighter gray, and then Pepper's hair is a darker gray. Pepper's real name is Yorinya Renu. And so both of them are kind of tech guys on board the Reckless for both the ship and Imani, which is their Gestalt. These two are constantly an argumentative bunch. If you've ever watched Pacific Rim, the Australian father-son duo, they're a bit like that, constantly at each other's throats, but they work well together regardless. you'll see kind of how they have a lot of the back and forth going on between them in the first book. It's really kind of funny. But in the second book, you do see kind of a more tender moment between the two. After something happens to his dad, you'll understand when you see it. I know I hate saying that you'll understand when you see it, but it really does show off. It really does hit pretty well. But I just kind of love the back and forth between those two. Let me see. Moving on. Unless there was something else you want to say about them, Terry?
No, I haven't got anything really to say about them. You know better than I do.
Alrighty. This is an older drawing for us because I just looked at some about our drawings and I see how starkly that, like the shading and everything like that. It's always kind of fun looking back at some of this stuff because I can see just how I did the shading. I learned how to do softer shading and stuff like that, and so it doesn't look quite as harsh. But I still love the designs I did for the t-shirts. I was really proud of that when I did that because it was one of my first attempts of actually designing a t-shirt and putting all that together. All right. Oh, and one other thing. Pepper is in love with a member of the crew named Mavala, and I don't remember if I added a picture of her. I think I forgot. I'd have to dig one up. But there's a sort of a kind of a frustrating dancing around the point, even though it's clear to everyone on board the ship that they like each other. And just like, will you two get it on already? Yeah. So, moving on. All right, so. I don't know if I shared this. Oh, I did. I remember sharing this with whenever we were talking with Victor. So there's really not a whole lot to say on that, but I'll still repeat it for those who are going to be checking this out at a later point. This is a Vlissian, specifically Ambassador Shesme, who is probably one of the best of the bunch. Vlissians are the only other race that humans have encountered in Wild Space Saga, the only other alien race outside of Felians. Well, the ones that are still around, that is. Vlissians are very mysterious. They are psionics, just like tertiaries are. As a matter of fact, they're such powerful psionics that, well, they don't even really need a physical form. That their physical form is concentrated right there in that crystal that you see in that staff that they wear. This body is just a projection. It is what they were, but they are no longer that. They're this. They speak strictly telepathically. Their mouths are only for eating. They do not have vocal cords. They don't need them. And this is how they interact with people. They're kind of unnerving for a lot of humans. But if they do choose to speak to you, usually it's something very, very important, and you might want to listen. Now, the interesting thing about Vlissians is that there are two types. You do have the ambassadorial ones that come and go as they please among humans. There's very little that humans know about them. They tend to like it that way. But there's another faction of the ones that are really bad news. They're called Seekers. You'll know a Seeker because they keep their faces completely shielded. And they look for tertiaries for various clandestine purposes. And they will relentlessly pursue them. And most tertiaries are terrified of them, even though most of the time then they don't realize this. Their powers trump even a Vlissian's power. But so many of them don't have the confidence that
you probably know more about the Protoss than I do, Brandon.
Not really. I know that they're psionics, and I know that they don't have a mouth. But I don't really know a whole lot about them. I've never really got that into StarCraft. So, but yeah, I guess some people probably would. One of our guests are saying that that it reminds them of the Protoss.
Yes, again, I mean, have you got StreamYard up? Because you could switch between comments, private chat. And
the problem is I'd have to switch back and forth from StreamYard, and right now I'm just on the pictures explaining them. I was going to go back to the chat after the fact, but yeah, they are a bit like the Protoss in that regard, and that they are strictly telepaths, and whereas the Protoss don't even have mouths, it makes me wonder how they eat, but there's an explanation somewhere. I never really looked it up, but yeah, their mouths right there, like I said, are only for eating. I have a story that I wrote before we started working on the books called Her Hand in Mine, in which the two main characters, a human and a Felian that he falls in love with, end up speaking with Ambassador Chesney. He kind of explains a lot of things. I use it as that moment to kind of give a little information on the Blissines. And yeah, he was like, it's like, why aren't you moving your mouth? He's like, oh, I don't have vocal cords. My mouth is just for eating. And anyway, but what I was trying to say about the Seekers is that they will use a lot of even tertiaries fear them, and they use that fear to try to make it easier for them to catch them. But of all tertiaries, Frostbite is not afraid to get into a scrap with them, and she's taken down 2 of them at least by this point. So, and there's another one actually who is not afraid of Seekers either, but I'll leave that for later because I really don't have a whole lot to say about that particular character just yet. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. All right, was that it? Oh no, okay. All right, so this is just a really nice picture I did of Xerx and Neela, his wife, on their wedding day, and I just thought it was a very beautiful picture to share because just really nice design for the gown. Neela is sort of the mother hen of the whole what's called Reckless crew, and she kind of really slides into that role, though she is a bit more unsure of herself when it comes to being a captain in Xerx's place, and you'll see that in the 3rd book when it comes out in May. Let me see, and that is something I forgot to tell y'all. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, the 3rd book is coming out in May 23rd, as a matter of fact. And yes, you can get advanced copies, and we can, like I said, have the links to the books where you can get them down in the doobly-doo. So yeah, once again, like I said, it was just a really nice picture of their wedding. We actually did a picture. We have 2 pictures of them individually in their wedding outfits. And I think it turned out really beautiful. Especially love the African style that it did. But I actually was looking up various African style wedding dresses when I designed this for Neela. All right, just another picture of Xerx and Neela, and this is one of them when they were younger, going out on a date. And I'm really, really proud of this drawing because I really suck at drawing machinery. And didn't have Terry. Terry, were you trying to call me? Were you trying to call me, man?
I would suggest checking chat and private chat.
Well, okay, but to do that, I have to flip back and forth from this to the other thing.
Well, stop sharing your screen a second and check.
Okay, hang on.
Stop sharing your screen a second, because you don't. Right.
All right. Then all right. Then
it's a bit late now because now you've shown the world, and I was trying to be discreet. You've been waffling away, and you've used up half an hour. I've not had a look in. You had a whole video previously last week.
Okay.
You're kind of just.
Okay. Well,
you're sitting on one subject forever. And I'm sure that it's lovely for Finn to understand, Finn isn't a problem. It's Brandon needing to understand that he's eating all the time up on labouring single points. And we can cover some of this later. And it's also covered in our stories. And it's like, well, there's 2 of us here. And at the minute, one person's getting a look in.
All right.
And someone else last week got a whole hour of his own stuff. And, messed up with the time and stuff like that.
Well, no, okay. I didn't notice the amount of time that had passed. So, yeah, we can go ahead and not worry about
I was trying to encourage you to check the chat. Now, in the live, I've done something I didn't want to do, B.
Anyway, let's go on ahead and move to what you got. I'm going to go ahead and concede my screen to you, and let me remove this and delete this. Okay, so we'll go ahead and turn it to you because I do know there are some things that you want to share. I don't think I only had like 2 drawings.
There's the things that you wanted me to share. And it's not necessarily the fact you're only sharing your artwork. It's the fact you're spending too much time on one piece and giving the entire backstory behind it. We have books for people to read too, Big Bella. It's kind of the point.
Right. So, so I'll go ahead and concede that to you.
Mm.
Are you able to open it up?
Right. So.
All right, let me go and add this to the stage.
Yeah.
All
what
right.
I've got people here is because I'm the ship guy. I always have been the ship guy. So the most relevant thing for me to share with you all is the original. This is the original Shadow Star design. Now, the fun story on this one is actually when Brandon asked me to design it and the crew for them is I was in hospital with sepsis.
Oh,
so
wow.
this passed the time in hospital designing this ship for 5 days while I was being treated on that. Now it's gone through several evolutions over time. You'll see the reckless design there, and this is where I came up with the wonderful colours for it, which is modelled on the 18 van, and it's a big old beastie transport with a fun underslung bridge, which I got the idea from after watching Interstellar, because I liked the lander craft in that, and that had the windows where they looked out the bottom. So that's why I came up with the underslung bridge for the thing. It's a big monster transport. It was an absolute wreck, so Paige got it restored. And that's basically where she did the deal with one of the big corporations to give her the money to actually get it restored and rebuilt. And then if they call her for a job, she has to prioritize it. But
and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why I wanted Terry to join, because as I said before, I kind of suck at drawing machinery, but Terry's really good at it. As you can see, he does some amazing stuff. He even gave me some pointers on when it came to like starship design, because when I first saw some of his work, I was like, "Where's the cockpit?" And he was like, "Well, you wouldn't put a cockpit, where you could see it, because that would just be something for the enemy to aim at,
Mm-hmm. I tend to bury them deep in. If it's meant to be a battleship, then it's it's getting buried. This is a transport, so they have their underslung bridge, but it's covered in shields, armor, and a load of internal weaponry that reveals itself when needed. It's a big 350-meter long thing that, and as Pip is fond of pointing out, weighs 50,000 metric tons, because she pilots it. She pilots the thing, and she likes to say, "Look at me, I control 50,000 tons with my brain." These next sequences, actually, because I was struggling to draw it, I built it. I literally built a miniature, and from there, I managed to do that. These are some of the Imperial ship designs. Brandon wanted one called a hammerhead, so what I did was I then put that design language into all of them. So this thing's actually called a mallet head because it's a transport version, and then this one it's called a hyper mallet head because it has a hyperdrive. So it's got these extra systems as where the hyperdrive unit is, bigger engines. And instead of loading at the back, it loads at the front. In fact, what I did was I did some cutaways here to show the differences between the layouts of them. So that's the hammerhead that Brandon always wanted. I originally did one design, but I was never happy with it. And once I finally had my design language for the Imperium, which is these sort of twin exhausts here, I then carried that across to all the designs. So even their ships have all these. They have a different style of hyperdrive to others. They literally generate a field that rips a hole in the fabric of space-time. They fly through the hole into hyperspace. So what's called a rift drive. So they have these generator sails on their ships. Their ships are also named after predatory fish. So we have arapaimas, piranhas, the pyara, which, if you've ever seen a pyara fish, it has these two massive fangs on the bottom of its mouth. Hence why this has these huge interference towers that prevents hyperdrives from working. And then we have the Alliance craft, which, as you can see, are lot more basic and rugged looking. They're actually named after rugby players.
So you didn't tell me about the rugby players.
Yeah. Cooper Woolley, yeah. And the Vunipola brothers. And, yeah, Simpson Dan. A lot of them, they've retired from rugby or they play elsewhere. This is Brandon showed this last week. I think he showed his interpretation of the Corax, which is an Alliance sort of transport. It's the equivalent of the Mallet Head. It's just rugged. It's based on a Formula One car nose cone. If you want to know where my influences come from.
Yeah, he's a big rugby fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. That's why normally I've got my Saints shirt on, but tonight I've got my Ghost shirt on. You see, their fighter even is not. In fact, that's the rubbish one. I redesigned that. This is a ship called the Pinball Wizard, built by a chap called David Rico with more money than sense. It's called that because this is back in my early days of Photoshop, so I couldn't replicate the idea. It's got a reflective hull, so it looks like a pinball.
And yes, the Pinball Wizard does have a supple wrist.
Well, you know, there has to be a twist. This is called a Rad Collector. So there is a story about how Irid came to power in the pirate colonies, and he was when there was like a coup and a usurper. It is Finn, yes. There's a lot of Who and song references and a lot of my stuff. Basically, he hid out on this, and what these do is they actually fly through the accretion disks of black holes and just suck in all the energetic particles and process it all and blow all the waste out the back. And then all these little tugs here you see detach when they're full, and they take the resources and all the waste and go dump it, and then they return. And he hid out on one of these for for him, for 18 months, but because of time dilation, he was gone 5 years. What we got left? That's an experimental super hammerhead with a bit more powerful. These are more Imperial vehicles. And then I did a full layout work for the Shadow Star, top, bottom, sides. This was initially so someone would do me a 3D model, but they proved unreliable and never did it for me. So this is the Reckless, my final design for it, where I reworked everything to be nice and finally got it all sleek and lovely and looking how I want it. This is one of those mallet heads next to the Shadow Star's landing gear. This is because one of our characters operates one of these, Snow. And so I decided to put it next to it just to show you the difference in the landing gear size. Because Shadow Star still operates good old-fashioned wheels and tyres. Because it's massive. And even from that view, you get a nice view of the hyperdrive there.
Now, he's really good at drawing angles better than I am. You're like, when it comes to drawing things from various perspectives.
So this is a bit of history for the Shadow Star. This is what it looked like originally before it was crashed as a military transport. When it was recovered, this end was just gone. So they literally just cut that off. And then it was rearmed and rebuilt. So this is all the hidden weaponry revealed. The missile launchers, railguns, there's laser weapons. The thing bristles but hides it all.
We do have designs for Thelian spacecraft. I don't know if that's in Terry's list or not, but
I don't have a lot of it because I still struggle to perfect the look of it.
They if you've ever watched Star Trek, they look a little bit like Vulcan spacecraft, but silvery rather than red.
This is from actually an unfinished side story where thanks to some rash actions by our character Tiger, the Shadow Star gets quite a nasty hit, and they actually hide out in hyperspace. So his punishment is he gets sent out on the hull with our character Miranda to assess the damage. And then this is another Imperial one, the Tiger Shark. This is a much bigger vehicle. This is operated again by our character Snow later on. who you will encounter in book 3. Now that's my redesigned Corvus that looked a lot better than that other one. I was more happy with this, a little bit more needle snub fightery style, like a Star Warsy type thing. I will see. I will have to have a look and see if I can find some of the Valiant stuff. We do have some of it, but it's. I'm very picky about what I share sometimes, because if I'm not entirely happy with it, more Shadow Star, lots and lots of Shadow Star, and this is actually the title ship, the Reckless.
I really think I think you were still kind of working on a design for Felian Craft. We did say that they have like a ring around them that's sort of like a hyperspace ring, and we said they were silvery, but you didn't get you didn't nail down the design quite yet.
The whole idea is that they meant that I made the bodywork. It's effectively chrome. It's a bit like the Pinball Wizard. It's that silver. The Pinball Wizard is sort of mirrors Felian ships, but it's built by humans. So hence the huge cannon strapped to the bottom and a generally sort of mechanical looking places on it. But they are that. Look, let me see if I can find some of the stuff.
Also, Felian ships, they're since their tech is more advanced, rather than using like automated atmospheric scrubbers, they actually use sort of like biomechanical type of constructs that are almost tree-like. They use chlorophyll to filter out the air in the ships.
Yeah, let me just. I'll stop sharing a second. I'll see if I can find some stuff.
Stop sharing. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's better than watching me go through the folders trying to find it, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's no problem. I understand. Let's see. Did I have anything? I don't think I had like 2 more left to do. Actually, no, that was the last one. Oh, I missed one. Hang on, what is this? Oh, no wonder it skipped it. I had the map of Saburna that I wanted to share, but I accidentally posted the paint.net image rather than the JPEG. Oh, well, say la vie.
Here we are. I have the cargo ship. This was the design. Oh, if I don't mind me popping back up again, I have it now. This actually was the design for the Felian ship that arrives in her hand in mine, funnily enough.
Yep. Let's see here. Add stage. There we go.
So this doesn't feature the shield ring because it's not a military ship, but the idea was they have this sort of, again, Formula One sort of nose style, because I like different eras. They have different designs of F1 car, and they had a period where they went through this high nose style that I felt lent itself to that Felian sort of idea. So you had the idea is it leads, there's the cargo door, the opening, and all of that. But it gives you this high sweep that gives it just that look that it's a bit more advanced and a lot less industrial. You have a few little bits, greeblies, obviously, just to give it some detail, but a lot of the military stuff is a lot more sleek and a lot more sort of flattened in its shape. And the idea is they have no obvious weapons because the beam projects straight off the hull itself. So that in a way, a bit like the shadow ships in Babylon 5, where there's no obvious weapons, but the beam just suddenly lances out at you from somewhere on the hull.
Yeah, the thing about the shadow ships is they're so intimidating looking. You don't want those things to attack.
I just realised my lights are flashing away, aren't they, behind me? No, Finn's just put a thing about the figures. Well, we have the top shelf is Metal Gear, Rex, Ray, the Ninja, and a few characters from that. Underneath that, you've got some Final Fantasy stuff, RoboCop. Then the other slot is a load of the Joy Toy Warhammer figures, because I am a massive 40k man. Although most of it's from the Heresy era stuff, because that's my jam. What I will bring up, actually, if you're interested as well, is some of the ChatGPT renders of the characters.
Yeah, we can share some of that.
I ran some of the character stuff through ChatGPT just to see how they would look if we were cast as real people, basically. One of the big ones is good old Alexa. I will bring it up. I'm just bringing up the stuff here. There it is. Share screen. You know, Brandon has a thing for my dear Alexa. Where is it? There it is. And so I went through to see how our dragon lady would look if we made her photorealistic and then put her in a bikini just to show off the scales.
Unfortunately, ChatGPT doesn't quite get Thelians in the way that I would like them to look. There's been a couple of images of them that are okay, but it really doesn't do them justice. For some reason, ChatGPT doesn't do furries well.
I see. There's her and Irid, and then there's Irid having you know what she's up to, and Brandon did actually do this drawing where he's being hit by the beach ball, and so I also rendered her getting ready to strike. That's Frostbite on the beach, and then Pip, she was decorating the Christmas tree this year, and then fell into it. Yeah, this is a character. This is the character Snow, who, despite being very pragmatic, still enjoys a bit of Christmas time. She's what's called a blank, so the equivalent of an albino in tank circles, where because they're created, they have a default settings on their genome. So hers is set to white, basically. So literally, eyes are white, eyelashes are white, hair is white, skin is white. So rather than the albino where their eyes are blue or they're reddish because of the lack of pigment, hers pigments are literally just set to 000 white, as opposed to 01 grey, or and so on. So you have this, literally blank person. And here's our good old girl Artemis, which I'm surprised Brandon didn't have a picture of. Did you not cover Artemis last week?
Oh, remember we did. We had the one with her in the kimono.
Ah, yes. Well, this is a more usual outfit. I can actually show. She's our very quiet little killer who likes the rain.
Yeah, she is like Harley Quinn, but quite a bit quieter.
And then, so that's to show off Pip's tattoos. Let me just swap.
Far less in love with the sound of her own voice.
Oh well, do you mean Pip or Artemis?
I was just talking about Artemis, and I was saying, yeah, she's like Harley Quinn, but far less in love with the sound of her own voice.
So I'm just trying to navigate the windows here, just so I know what's coming up where. Right, no, that's fine. Then I've clicked the wrong button. Sorry, I'm being very professional now. I was nagging Brandon earlier, and now my ability to be professional is there's a render of Paige. So you can see how Brandon's drawing wasn't far off. The only difference is he just couldn't replicate the flower pattern, which I've been trying to create on her flight suit forever.
I was trying to do like a glowing effect for the flowers and then say they were sort of holographic. So maybe ChatGPT doesn't quite understand what I was trying to do there.
Yeah, but I'll say no. Just with your drawings, that's one of the reasons we tend to omit this in our drawings, because it's very difficult to replicate. I know people, have a thing about AI, but this is what I use it for. I can render my characters in a setting that I can see what they'd look like if they were real, and that's what I use it for.
I notice it doesn't want to do it. It's a little too modest because it doesn't want to do the boob window.
That's because I didn't ask it to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if we move on, there's Alexa in her flight suit. This is one of our other tank species, a tech tank. This one's nicknamed Midge. Now, what I did with this one is they have a different kind of skin tone scale. So rather than where... just notice Finn. Yes, she is. That is exactly the point of Artemis's name, because she is a little hunter and assassin. Now, what I do with tank skin is they go on a grey scale. So, where Brandon's quite obviously, has browner skin than myself because of the melanin. Tanks go between dark grey and literal white. So with this character Midge, I kind of tried to explore that by giving her that dark grey appearance instead. So there's a few of her just with different bits, and she'll appear in book 4. She's a very curious little one who spends her time climbing around through parts of Jiao with her snacks and just generally exploring the world because she can't help herself. They lived in pods years before, and obviously things like this, real world experiences, are things they love. The next one we have, and I'm sure Brandon will love seeing these ones. These are called wreckers. So where the other ones all interface with machines and they make them work, wreckers are the ones that are designed to just absolutely destroy the system. You let them in, it's gone. They're identified by the fact they have heterochromia.
Yeah, the others exist to balance the equation. They exist to unbalance it.
Well, they don't just unbalance it; they tear it to shreds. Basically, your hardware dies because there's no software left to control it.
There you go.
She actually likes physical media because they live in cyberspace. She likes her books. Now, she's part of a group called the Coven, who were explored in book 4. There's another one here, Gudrun, also nicknamed Ghidorah because of her headwear, who was actually acquired by the Yakuza. So she wrecks systems for the Yakuza. Like that.
Oh, yeah. That looks cool.
Yeah. And then this one is a different one. This is Numi, who, as you can see, was born blind. So she got around it by building cameras that she interfaces with.
She also speaks in a very thick Tay-Sider accent. If you ever heard the Tay-Sider accent, you'll be like, what? Was any of that English?
So, yeah, tech tanks tend to get a bit, shall we say, eccentric, because they live in cyberspace. When a lot of our ones, because they've escaped the Imperium, they're no longer just being used as human processors. They've got unfettered access to an interstellar internet, so they end up developing quirks. So Pip talks all the time. You know, she thinks she's the greatest, all that sort of thing. You get Numi here, who has developed a very thick, as I said, Tayside Scottish accent, and swears as much as a Scotsman does. And most people are left going, "What?" when she speaks, you know. But that's it, Brandon. I've gone through the lot for you.
All right, well, awesome. That's cool.
I'll try and stop.
It's not like a whole lot left. There's one last little pick I wanted to share with everyone that let me see here. Try to pull it up again and entire screen. Let me do that right quick. Oh, come on now. Oh, there we are. All right. Let me pull this up right quick. Is this the one? No, that's the ChatGPT one. Hang on. Is this? Yeah. Okay, this is paint.net. You know what? I can pull it up. Okay, this is not the full thing that I did on what you call it on DeviantArt, but I still wanted to show it off. And this is of course the map that I did of Saberna. This is the capital, basically one of the largest main worlds of the Alliance, and it is the capital world of the Alliance. As you can see, I really am proud of how this turned out. The world is almost like if you stretched Australia to the size of a planet, because you see a lot of just the interior is mostly desert. And if I can bring this up a little bit, not quite as easy as when I'm putting it up on the picture viewer, because I'm using the program that I use to actually create these images. And you'll see Saberna Prime right there. and a whole lot of the other cities. These are just the largest ones that are all kind of in that area. There are other smaller towns kind of like on the outskirts, but the largest cities are like kind of right here. The planet's always very hot, because the reason why there's so much desert area is not just because of the continental arrangement, but also because
planetary scale Australia.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But it's because a lot of the areas on the inside were really messed up during the Imperial Wars. But I just wanted to show that off because I finally had a map of Saburna, and I'm just glad that turned out really, really well. So let me see. And well, that brings us to the hour actually, and then we got all our stuff out that we wanted to show. And so I'm glad that you guys, for those of y'all who are watching even after the fact, and I'm glad you're here, my friend. And I'm glad
even with mid-live meltdown, yeah.
And so we're really glad you had a chance to join us for some of these art pieces. We get a little more artwork out. We might do another one at a later part down the road, but that's probably going to be kind of far down the road. But we're glad you're here to check out some of the great concept work that we've done for Wild Space Saga. As you can see, it's a big universe. We haven't even showed you half the stuff that we have
we'll also
popped out.
Sorry, we'll also have some more fun Suno lore tunes coming out soon as well.
Yep. And so we'll see what we want to share with all of you the next go round. But for now, we're going to go ahead and call it the day.
Although just to blow my own trumpet on those songs, I will say I do write the words. Suno just does the hard work for me.
Yep. As a matter of fact, the songs that you've been hearing in the very beginning of the show before we kind of turn the volume down, those are little snippets of the music that we have been making. Wild Space Saga. Terry's been sharing it with me. He's doing a really great job with Suno. That program is really amazing. It's actually being able to make your own music. All right, so
it just does the heavy lifting for me, so I can just focus on writing words and go make me a song. Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna go ahead and call it at this particular point, guys. Thank you once again for joining us. And as we said before, guys, if you please ask that you would comment, rate, subscribe. If you want to make any comments, just keep it civil. And, we got all the links to sharing us on the social medias down there in the doobly-doo. We have the links to the books down there in the doobly-doo. Our new re-releases for Wild Space Saga books 1 and 2 have finally come out. We ask that you please come and check and purchase them. Leave a comment, even like I said, even if you didn't like them. And then book 3 is coming out in May. And so we will just kind of remind you all of that with every video, with every live stream that we do, with every video that we do. And thanks for joining us once again, guys. And we hope that you will join us next time. And hopefully you'll join us live as we go on the Northwest Passage. So until then, this is Brandon Hill and Terrence Pegasus signing off. Take care.